What's your ratio of winning trades versus losing trades?
Well, that would depend on the strategy that I'm employing at the time. But so for example, on my day trading, so when I started that challenge, that 10K to 100K challenge, I was trading certainly in the first year with a higher win rate because I just wanted to get that relatively small account at that initially, just wanted to get it going. So I was trading with a strategy with a higher win rate. But most of the trading that I do these days is sitting at around about 50% or so, maybe 50 to 55% win rate. Some intraday trades have a slightly higher win rate than that, but certainly on my swing trades, I'm only right maybe 50% or so. And people would say, well, that's a really bad strike rate, Charlie. I don't care, because to me, it's about risk to reward. So if I'm risking 1 to make 2 or make 3, then I can afford to be wrong 50% of the time. I can afford to be wrong 40% of the time, and I'm still going to be making decent returns. But I always say, for newer traders, they have that desperation, that need to be right as much as possible. Newer traders don't want to be right only 50% of the time, because that means they're wrong 50% of the time and they can't handle the losses. So I get that. But what most people find is that as they become more experienced and they develop a thick skin, then you shrug off the losing trades a lot, and you don't mind those, because you can take have lots of little opportunities and to find trades. Some of them aren't going to work out, but when the ones that do work out, they make so much more than the losses you have, then it doesn't really matter. But it's easy to say that in theory. In the thick of things, when you've just had 5 losing trades in a row, for a newer trader, it's difficult for them to cope with emotionally. But as you develop as a trader and you've been around for a number of years, you get so used to that. It's a bit like, I always use the analogy of when I was young. It wasn't me, but I remember when you were young, and you're 18 years old, a long 20 odd years ago, we used to go to nightclubs in our suits, and anyway, used to go to nightclubs, and you'd always see these guys there who would just go onto the dance floor and always be chatting to a girl and just get rejected and told to go away or whatever. And they had this amazing ability to handle rejection. Now for me back then, I was quite shy as a young guy. I could never go up to a strange girl and just approach her and just say hi. Because of the fear of rejection. But some people have that ability to be able to just be rejected and then just move on and on and on. And it's that type of mentality we need to have with trading, to just get used to the rejection when you just lose, and to be able to just move on to the next trade and not worry about the fact that your last trade was a loss, because this one might actually be a good trade.
Is it possible to be a winning trader and beat the market on a consistent basis?
Yeah, well, that's why I went to go about proving that on the 10K to 100K challenge, to prove something over a sustained amount of time, to show people, yes, it is more than possible to be a good, consistent trader. The problem is that we have out there is that we all know 80% of traders actually fail. But the reason that 80% of traders fail is not always because it's so difficult. It's just that lots of those traders start and give up within 6 months. So that accounts for a large portion of those 80%, that people just think, I'm going to have a go at this. 6 months later, they've blown an account because they've over-leveraged, not respected risk, and all those sorts of things. And they've just basically gambled. And so that accounts for a lot. But once people actually really, if they stick at it, then absolutely there's every opportunity to be a good, consistent trader. And when I say consistent, it's not about being right, like we keep on coming back to, or that's not what I call consistent. Consistency is in your returns. So over a 6 month to a yearly basis, I'm not even talking about day to day, week to week, every 6 months to 12 months, are you consistent in your returns? So do you have a positive equity curve?